What is up, everyone? Welcome to Shaping Success. I'm your host, Wes Tankersley. Before we get into the show, I want to talk to you about our sponsor, TVPBN. TVPBN puts on the production for the show. They are my sponsor. If you would like to have your own show, please give me an email. Shoot me an email, wes@westankersley.com. Scrolling across the bottom of the show the whole time there, you can go to tvpbn.com, check it out, see what we have going on. We would love to produce your show. We would love to run advertising for you. If you need any place to put some of your ads or anything like that, hit us up and let us know. Today's guest is Wize Otero, a.k.a. Wize. Wize was raised in Brooklyn. He currently lives in Pennsylvania. He's a podcaster, and he also has just started his own radio network. So let's get to that intro, and then we'll have a little chat with Wize.
And now, here's your host of Shaping Success, Wes Tankersley.
Hey, Wize, welcome to the show. Thanks for taking the time to be here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, hey, I got to interview on your show it's been about a month or two ago, and we got to chat, and I really enjoyed that conversation. I thought, hey, it'd be great to kind of extend that here on my show and talk about some of the things that you're doing. Can you do us a favor and kind of tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, so let's see. I've been podcasting for over a year now. Originally from Brooklyn, New York, but now I reside in Pennsylvania. And the first question a lot of people ask me is, why move from New York to Pennsylvania? I did it for love, so. And what else? Man, my podcast stuck in my mind is going great. I've had some great guests on. You were one of them. I honestly probably be releasing the episode within the next week or so.
Yeah, and it's awesome because your show is kind of similar, and this is what I like. My last guest, we were talking about the law of attraction, and not that I'm attracted to you, but you know what I mean. You just end up being stuck with the same people. You have the same mindset. We talk about the same things. We kind of run in the same circle, and it was really exciting to get to have that conversation with you and talk about success and entrepreneurial things and things like that. So that's kind of what your show's about, right?
At first, I didn't know what my show was about. At first when I first started, it was me ranting about work and politics and stupid news, and I didn't enjoy it. But then when I changed the way I formatted my show and went more to a conversation show, that's when I really started enjoying it and started realizing that this is something I really enjoy doing and I'm really passionate about. So I just started looking for guests that I felt had something to offer people. And so it just started taking off. Like after a while of me really focusing and really grinding and out of nowhere, it's like at first I was out there, I had to go out and get my guests. I was out there on everything looking for guests. And then after a while, you start getting people sending you emails, messages, and they're like, hey, I want to be on your show. Your show's pretty cool. And I'm like, wow, like this is awesome. Like I had to chase people down, and now people are sending me messages because they enjoy my show. And I'm like, all right, cool. So it's just been a crazy ride, man. I didn't expect to be where I'm at now. Like I started this because I got furloughed from my job and I was out of work for like 3 months. But from starting the podcast, I launched a production company. We launched an internet radio station this past Father's Day weekend. And it's just been a great journey it was just the beginning, but it's just been great right now so far.
Yeah, so you mentioned that you were furloughed from your job, like a lot of us were. Like, I didn't quite get 3 months for me. You know, people didn't want us in houses. I sell window coverings during the day, and at first they didn't want us in their house, and then they realized that they needed some privacy, so then they started calling us back. What do you do during the day? Because this isn't your full-time job, right? This is just something that you do beside.
No. I have one of the easiest jobs in the world. I get paid to play games. I'm a table games dealer.
Oh, that's awesome. So so everything from blackjack, poker, things like that, or what?
The only thing I don't deal is poker and pie gow tiles, but everything else in my house in the casino I deal.
And do you enjoy that job? Is it something that you like doing, or what do you think about your current situation?
Oh man, I make good money. I'm not gonna complain. I'm not gonna say I don't, but it's kind of like, since I started my podcast and the direction that I'm going with providing positive content and trying to help people, the job I'm in kind of doesn't really entail that. We have a lot of degenerate gamblers, man.
Yeah. I can only imagine it's kind of like a bar probably. You probably have a lot of those people that have been there before and they just keep coming back.
Yes.
Regulars, there we go. Yeah,
and it's crazy. It's crazy because I work the 4 a.m. to 12 p.m. shift, right?
Yeah.
So you have regulars that are there at 4 a.m, and some of them are still there after I leave.
Oh my gosh. That's crazy. I never really got into gambling, so it's kind of tough. Like, I'll go in and I'll spend $20 in a slot machine, which I know is like the worst place to put your money, but that's it. I'm like, I'm good. I lost my $20 and I'm out. I couldn't imagine staying there for, 12, 24 hours. Some of these people do.
It goes, sometimes when people ask me like what I do and I tell them now, oh, you got any tips? Yeah, stay out the casino.
Yeah, save your money.
That's the biggest tip I can give you.
So you ended up deciding to start a podcast kind of just after that when you got furloughed. Where did it, you said that it was kind of like a ranting newscast type of deal, and then it ended up interviewing people. What kind of drew you to wanting to interview people and finding things like that? Because it kind of, I know like with myself, it's the same thing. It just kind of evolved over time. What made you decide that you wanted to help people?
Well, I know I wanted to interview people because I listen. My favorite podcast is Joe Rogan, and I feel he does some great interviews, and he has some really interesting guests. Especially when they're not the celebrity guests. There's some people that he's had on that are amazing. But for me, it was just like, I just didn't feel good when I delivered that podcast where it was me just ranting and just talking nonsense. I just didn't feel that I was providing content that people would want to listen to. And once I started interviewing, I had guests on that had some real good stories, and I had people actually reach out to me after they heard certain episodes. That's when I really started knowing that I'm doing the right thing. I'm headed in the right path, especially when people tell me that I've inspired them to do something.
Yeah. And I think, and I think we've talked about this before, but it's almost like it's kind of better for us too. It's kind of like a therapy for us too, because we were able to get ideas from other people and how they do things as well. And it kind of makes you feel better about yourself too. I really like sharing those stories of people who are inspirational, like you're talking about, and finding out, kind of dissecting that and figuring it out, and then sharing that with people as well as myself. Is it kind of a little bit that way for you too?
At first, it was like, I didn't realize people would want to hear my story. Like, a lot of people don't know my story. They don't know some of the things that went on in my life. Like, I was widowed at 31, and that was a big blow in my life. This was the woman I had been most of my adult life with, and for that to be taken away, it just set me down a very dark path. And so, for me to get back to where I'm at now, it's been a journey, man. It's just really been a journey. And I've been blessed to find someone who pushes me and understands me and supports what I'm doing.
Yeah, that's got to be a pretty tough thing at 31. I couldn't imagine, because I just turned 40 and I've been married for 21 years. And knowing that, like 11 years into my marriage, that would have ended, or 12 years into my marriage, that would have ended. That would have been a pretty tough thing to deal with. How did you, so are you saying that this kind of helps you talking it out as well? It's kind of a little bit of therapy to get your story out?
It kind of lets me like, let the walls down. Something like it lets people in. Because for so long I was angry, man. For a long time I was angry. I was very self-destructive, and so when I decided to really change how I was living, I found the right lady that I needed in my life again. It's like my wife I'm with now, she brought me back into self-development, and she's helped me really do a lot of things. Like, one of the things when I started dating her was, she was like, "Do you have a passport?" And I was like, "No." She says, "Well, you're going to need one, because we're going to go over, we're going to travel and do a lot of things." So she says, "So if you're going to be with me, you're going to need one." And I found that to be so sexy. I was like, "Oh man, I've never had a woman tell me that." So for her to tell me that, it was like, "Oh man, okay, all right, I like that. I like how this sounds."
Yeah.
So I like I said, I've been blessed to find love again, and she's helped me turn my life around.
So when you talk about, like, that self-destructive path, what was it? Were you drinking a lot? Were you just, what was the kind of the self-destructive stuff that you were going through?
I was just drinking every day, man. Like, just didn't care. Just didn't want to be bothered with anyone. I attempted suicide, but it's I don't know. I can't. For me, it was just real rough times, man. It was just people. I feel like if I were to just give up, people would understand, but I wouldn't understand. It's just something inside of me says, "Listen, you got to change, man." She wouldn't want to see you like this. She wouldn't want to see you headed down this path. So after a few years of being like drinking and getting high all the time, and just not caring about anything and not wanting to be alive anymore, is just something one day just told me I had to change. And again, I was blessed to have someone come into my life at that time and help me really see the light.
Well, and it's really cool what you're doing with that. I'm glad to hear that, because like I said, you have a lot to share, and I really like what you do with your podcast, and I really like what you're doing. You're also trying to help other people get their word out there as well. So you have your podcast. Do you have two podcasts? I feel like you have two. It's not just the one, right?
No, you know what it is me. I have my podcast. Then my nephew has his podcast, which is we do on YouTube on Thursdays. But it's all family, man. But I have this podcast is my main podcast. Okay. But again, you can say his podcast is my podcast, because I'm probably on more than half of his episodes.
Right.
So.
Well, it's fun when you find someone that you get along with and you have good chemistry with, and you can talk on the same thing with them. I'm sure that's an awesome combination. And he's helped you. He's my nephew, but it's like, it's crazy because me and my older siblings have a big age difference. So me and my nephew are close in age. Uh-huh. So we grew up more like brothers than uncle and nephew. Yeah.
So being able to work with him and do the things that we're doing together, it's just awesome.
Yeah. And him and you have partnered together, and you've created a internet radio station. Is that correct?
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about that internet radio station. I think it's a really cool idea, and it all came from, you think back, and it all came from COVID, right? I mean, COVID happened, you got into podcasting.
Yeah.
Isn't it weird how everyone's like, COVID is so terrible, but it's been so good for some people, and I feel like that's something that people need to hear.
And you know what? For a minute, I was like, oh man, I wasn't really celebrating the victories that I was having. And my nephew said, yo, dude, man, you really need to, yeah, I understand it's COVID. We've been going through a lot of things. But he says, yo, we've been blessed as well, man. So he says, it's okay for you to celebrate once in a while, man. And he was right. He was absolutely right, man. It's like, you need to enjoy these things, these moments. And so now when, like, I know COVID was bad. I lost a couple of close friends. I had friends who kids committed suicide. There's a lot of things happened during this pandemic. But then again, a lot of positive things have also come out of it. So
yeah, and the crazy thing about it is it just, you know, there's so many people who got into podcasting, and then you meet all these people. It's crazy that everything just kind of falls into place. And I feel like you're kind of laid back. I feel like that's just having that conversation with you. You seem like a thinker, and I bet you probably don't celebrate a lot. So yeah, you got to celebrate that stuff. What happened with?
Yeah, no. It's I guess sometimes you can just be too humble. Sometimes you just need to. No, it's like you just really do need to celebrate and let people know that. Yo, listen, it's okay to celebrate sometimes, man. You need to reward yourself with for doing a good job, and just that doesn't mean you stop doing a good job. You continue to do what you got to do, but it's okay to celebrate once in a while.
Yeah, for sure. Well, let's talk about the radio station. What is this internet radio station that you created? Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, with the way everything is, like you're censored everywhere you go, like Facebook, YouTube, anywhere else you're censored. They can take down your episode. They can do whatever they want with your show. So I just felt like maybe I wanted to provide a platform for podcasters who have something to say and then they keep getting shut down. So it was a no-brainer. It was like one day I just woke up and was like, yo, I want to start a radio station. And my nephew said, okay, let's do it. So it's just been great, man, to be able to work with some of these podcasters. I have a mutual friend of ours, Anthony, he's a big part of it. He's actually 5 days a week on the station.
Oh yeah.
He's like 5:00. He's my 5:00 show. So
how does it work?
Good,
what do you do in order to if someone wanted to be on there, what would they have to do in order to get on your radio station?
Just reach out, like send me an email. You can reach me at our realwiseproductions@gmail.com and send me a little audio clip or whatever you want to send.
And so they have specific time slots, right? So they don't have to give up. I think the biggest thing that a lot of people think, like, okay, so you have a podcast. What they're doing though is they're just giving you their episodes that they've already created to be syndicated on your show, correct? Yep.
That's so they're not. Yeah, they upload the MP3s. They're not. I give them control to the radio. They have access to the radio station to upload the MP3s, put their cover arts. It's their content. I own their content. That's their content. It's just another platform for them to just showcase their talents.
Yeah. And so, what kind of shows do you currently have on your station?
Well, you have the Independent Mouth, Mr. Anthony Williams, who's awesome. Yeah. I love him. I have the Albino Rhino, he's a little quirky and and from fanboys and their top pop culture and stuff like that. I have Brandy J with her Voices of Courage. I love her. She's definitely she's one of my teammates. So she's really talented, and there's so many other shows, man. I have Cypher Knowledge with Chrissy Richards. She's another talented young lady that's killing it.
So you can find a bunch of variety, really, right? Is what you're saying. There's all kinds of different
there's all different types, man. Yeah, there's all different types. There's all. I'm trying to find a nice sports podcast or a sports show or something. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'm sure you're going to find everything that you need. I mean, there's a lot of good ones out there, and I'm sure that there are a lot of people who want to get their name out there. So it's a great thing that you're doing. So what's in the future for the radio station? What are you going to do from here on out with it? You've got shows on there. What's the big picture goal of the whole thing?
Oh man, just to really, because we're playing music as during some of the time. But the ultimate goal is to have a crazy amount of podcasts and actually live shows as well, because we can put on live shows and there's just so many different things. Maybe put on a festival one day. Who knows, man? There's just so many different ideas that I've got flowing up in here.
Well, what does it do? So does it, like, you just go to it's on a website? Is that where it's at? Like, you can go to the website and then you can just listen to it all day long?
You can. I have a Android app and a Apple app, or you can go to the website and then listen to the player there. And yeah, the Android app and the Google app. I mean, the Apple app.
Was that a tough process to get one of those apps going? That seems like something that would be a pretty big undertaking.
Oh man, well, you have to become an Apple developer to do Apple, and then you also have to become a Google developer. And there was a little hiccup with the Android. Once we fixed that, it went pretty well. It was Apple that gave me a little headache, because unless you have an Apple device, you cannot become an Apple developer.
Oh man!
And I didn't know this for a couple of months. So when I finally figured out that I had to have me a Apple device, I had to go get a iPad, and so once I got that done, and I became an Apple developer, within a month later, the app was ready.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. We were just talking about that in here, because I've made the switch from, like, I've always used an iPhone, but then and then an iPad, and then I finally made the switch over to a Mac computer. And if you haven't used one of them before, it is kind of foreign. It's kind of confusing, but it does not surprise me that Apple they make you use an Apple device in order to have an app on their store. That's kind of Apple. That's kind of what they do.
So yeah, but it's funny because everybody in my house is except for me. I'm not.
You're fighting it.
I'm not fighting it. It's that camera sucks, man.
Yeah.
Like, they take pictures and I take pictures with my phone, and I'm like, okay, look at the difference. Look how much clearer and crisp mine's look compared to your. So no, I'm good. I'm happy.
Well, hey, before we get to the last question here, why don't you tell us? I want you to tell us. We got your Instagram scrolling across the bottom there. Where can we find you? Where's the best place to find you?
Oh man, I'm on every major platform. I'm on Spotify, Apple, Google. Oh man, I've tuned in. The platform that I'm on, Podbean. Oh man, once you're on Apple, you're on a bunch of different ones that, yeah. And then I finally got on Pandora. I'm so happy about that one, because that one took forever to get on. And yeah, I'm on almost every major platform.
And what's the app called?
And you can go to the website, which is www.stuckinmymind2020.com. Yeah, and then the Facebook page is www.facebook.com/Wize76. And yeah,
what's your app called, so that they can download your app?
It's Real Wize Radio.
Real Wize Radio, and that's Wize, Wize.
Yes.
All right. Well, hey man, it's been awesome having you on. You have one last question that I ask all guests that come on here, because The show is called Shaping Success, and I feel like that's different for every individual. The question was once told, or someone once told me that they were going to be twice as successful as I was when they grew up when I was in high school. And I was like, okay, whatever. You can't tell me that because you don't know what that is. So if you were to define success, how would you define that?
For me, being able to work for myself, not working for anyone else. That's success for me, is being able to have the time to spend with my family, with my grandsons. So yeah.
Well, that's I think one of those goals that a lot of people have. So that's awesome to hear. I wanted to say thanks for taking the time to hang out with me today and talk and further this a little bit more. I look forward to seeing how the radio station goes and seeing where you go in the future.
Oh man, listen, we got. I don't know. I don't know if you spoke to Anthony, but he's got some big plans for me. So
that's good. That's good.
Anthony's the man, though, man. I told him we had a great talk the other day, and like I said, he's awesome, and I can't wait to work with you guys.
Yeah, well, we're really excited to have that going. So I'm excited to see where it goes, man. Good luck with the radio.
And I need to get me a Jeff, man. I definitely need to get me a Jeff.
You need to get you a Jeff. Yeah, I got it. I got a Jeff.
Yes.
Hang out a little bit after the show, and we'll talk. Man. We'll talk to Jeff. All right, man. Well, like I said, hang out a little bit after here, and we'll talk a little bit more. But it was great having you on. Thanks for doing an interview with me, and I look forward to future endeavors.
Yes, definitely. Appreciate you having me on, brother.
Yep. All right, everyone. Well, that is the end of the show. I just want to remind you that this show is hosted on TVPBN. It's a live stream network on Facebook. If you would like to have your show on there, please go ahead and contact me. You can head over to tvpbn.com and get started. You can email me with any questions, wes@westankersley.com, or DM me on Instagram. I'm there. TVPBN wants to help you out, and we'd love to get you some advertising, get you a show, whatever you're looking for. Until next time, I challenge you to find the shape of your success.